Okay, my name is Dr. Dave Yoder. I have with me today Mike Cohen. Thank you, Mike, for coming down.
My pleasure.
And this is the first official interview of the new community called Getting to the Heart of the Matter. So this is about bringing stories to you, the audience, of really miracles that happen, and we really want to wake the audience up and show you guys what's possible here. So this is, no hold bars here. So today is Tuesday, September the 25th. It's about lunchtime here. We're in sunny San Diego, specifically Encinitas, California. So welcome, Mike, for coming down to my office here. We're doing the recording in my treatment room here. And so a few weeks ago, I had an inspiration from this new physicist, Nassim Haramein, and he was interviewed as updating Einstein's theory of the space-time continuum.
Mm-hmm.
And so what he said, Mike, is that he wants to relabel it space memory, because without memory, there is no time.
Mm-hmm.
So without memory, there's no time. So that just opened up a Pandora's box for me, and I just went deep down the rabbit hole as far as my brain could take me, and asked for more inspiration. So where it took me is that, what is memory? Where is memory stored? And
Mm-hmm.
we now have evidence that there are patients walking around with no working gray matter in their brain. So there's no neurons that are functioning, and they are functioning normally and have memory. So if neurologists said, well, memories are in the brain, and these people are walking out with no brain matter,
Mm-hmm.
where is it? So that brought me to Dr. Paul Pierce's book, The Heart's Code, where heart transplant recipients who've received another person's heart have had strange phenomenon of changes in their lifestyle and memories. So if we were just parts, and we could just replace you with another knee or a bone graft or tissue, there's no way cellular memories could be transported. But we are here live today, here to bring you a real life story. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Mike, if you'll just share with the listening audience. And we're going to go backwards in time to what led you to up to receiving the new heart here. So if you'll share with them a little bit about your past history, what was going on.
Sure. So at the age of 18, I was diagnosed with leukemia. I was a couple weeks of just a lot of stress through work and school. I started growing these little lumps underneath my throat, and one day I was just shaving, and I just noticed them, and I'm like, hey, maybe we should get this checked out. And went to the doctor. They said it was, at the time, he thought it was just, he thought it was mono, or maybe a flu or pneumonia at the time. And because my body was just worn down, I was very congested, I couldn't breathe very well. And those lumps kept on growing from that point. And until one day I was walking to work, and I spit up some blood. I just coughed and spit up blood, and ended up being rushed to the emergency room. And that morning I woke up with, all the cords, life support, things in my nose, everything. And my mom was sleeping at the foot of my bed, and she told me, she was like, Mike, you have cancer, and you're going to start going through chemotherapy starting tomorrow. And we're going to be transferring you to more of a cancer-specific hospital. And it's going to be about 2.5 years of chemotherapy. And for the first couple weeks, you're going to be getting chemo out of the hospital. As an inpatient in the hospital, and then you're going to continue your treatments as an outpatient.
So at 18, for any young man, that's like the prime of your life. You're like getting independent, you're making your future plans, you're physically, mentally strong. What was going on through you mentally, emotionally, when you got this heavy news?
Well, at that point in my life, I had lost I lost 2 of my grandparents to cancer. So cancer for me, the word cancer, the concept of cancer, I only visualized older people with chemotherapy that was extremely intense, made people extremely ill, nauseous, losing their hair, losing the coloring in the face. And my first question to my mom was like, well, what about school? What about work? Is this something that I could just continue going to school and, have the treatments on the side? And unfortunately, that wasn't the case. That wasn't what the prognosis was. And I was rushed into it with really not much to say. There was a choice of going into a clinical a clinical trial and a traditional round of chemo. The difference in time was 12 months or 2 years. And at that point, I really didn't have too much time to really make the right decision, but I made the right decision by just saying I want to go with what has been more traditional and what has worked for more of the majority of the people at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I went with the traditional treatments of 2.5 years of chemo.
So do you think the overwhelming shock of the news just put you into action mode? You just had to like go and do, and you just keep your mind busy, and you didn't really have time to process what maybe.
Yeah, I didn't have much time. Like it was just really, it was really sad because it was just like I was so into going to college, like you were saying. Like that was the time where I was starting to grow, and I was living in New York, so I was going to New York City and going to the city every day for school, and that was always my dream to go through that commute and spend my days in the middle of Tribeca and Soho, going to culinary school and learning how to cook. And I really didn't have time. I didn't have any chance at all to really fully process that, and I spent a lot of time in the hospital, and it was scary. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I really, it scared me straight, and it definitely rocked my world in every capacity. Yeah.
And then you said you also had cancer again, and then a heart attack later on. So
Well, I didn't have cancer a second time,
okay,
but I did have 2 heart failures. So
okay,
during the first chemo, within the first year of my chemotherapy treatments, I had heart failure for the first time. I had multiple blood clots in my lung, and my heart was just not beating very strong because the chemotherapy was very intense. And that was the first of the 2 heart failures that I had. And then as a part of the prognosis and medications that they give you as part of chemotherapy, they do actually let you know, or they told me that they did let me know, that down the road that there's a very small chance of it affecting my heart. Well, I was one of those very small chances, and last year on July 27th, I was making dinner by myself, and I just felt a really strong tightness in my chest. I had like shooting, throbbing pain in my left arm and my left part of my jaw. And I just remember saying to myself, after going through, trying to remember everything that I've experienced before, like, do I recognize this? I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. And then it just came to me like, you're having a heart attack. And I got in touch with my girlfriend, my brother, and we rushed to Scripps in La Jolla, and they confirmed within seconds of me being there that I was having a heart attack, and they had rushed me to get like an actual camera to go into my major artery to look into my heart, and they found that there was a golf ball size clot in my left ventricle.
Wow. And so what was the expectation or prognosis at this point?
So, due to the location of that clot, since it was located in the left ventricle of my heart, they were extremely concerned, and they were actually preparing me for a stroke. The left ventricle is where the blood actually goes up into my brain, into your brain, and so they put me into ICU. They did not let me move. I was not allowed to get out of bed for a shower or to use the bathroom. Like I was